morning, folks. Here we go. Saturday, college football week 3 already. I can't believe it's already the third week of college football. And it's been a busy day for me already. So much to do and so little time. I think that's my favorite thing to say because there really is. I had a bunch of stuff to go over today, and, previewing games for you, it would be so easy. The easiest show for me would just be to say, okay, I made Oklahoma State 17-64.5. The line is 18-63. We have no play on that game. And then move on to the next game. And I could do them all that way. But I think that you want some information. I go to my book. I start to write down all the notes. Today was busier. I had several things to do. I still take care of a lot of customer service stuff with people who are having trouble getting on the website or haven't gotten their sheets and things like that, and answering questions about the sheets as well. So good morning again, KennyWhiteSports.com, the power ratings, and that's what we use. That's the foundation of anyone's sports betting is their power ratings, and you use those to create a betting line, and that's 75% of the equation, though. Then you got to dig into the science behind the game, the revenge factors, the look-aheads, the letdowns, all that motivational, the coaches, things like that that we talk about. So today, that's FCS games going up, FBS versus FCS. I'm betting those. So a lot of places didn't go up this morning early, which was kind of surprising to me. But then it's not surprising to me because these books don't want to lose money and they have no confidence in their lines in those games. So that was a little bit of a challenge. Getting baseball, thank goodness, there was no pitching changes today from the overnight pitchers that I had when I made all my numbers yesterday. And baseball's been really good. Too bad the Padres scored 3 in the first. I would have liked them to got a 1 or 2 spot because we did have the Padres yesterday. That was a winner. The under ended up being a winner. The first 5 under was not. I lost that one and did lose the Diamondbacks yesterday. Other than that, baseball was all winners. Cub game went over earlier in the day. The first couple of games that I talked about were winners as well. So I know it was like a 6-1 or 6-2 day. There was definitely 2 losses because the 5-inning loss and the Diamondbacks. But boy, baseball's been really good. And I will cover baseball at the end today, probably the last 5 or so minutes of the show. College football. Let's start with some weather in the South. That's where the hurricane has gone to the tropical storm now. I didn't even know the name of the tropical storm. That's how busy I've been, but just looking over that weather in that area. Tallahassee today, showers likely, possible thunderstorm in the morning. Lingering showers throughout the day. Winds 10 to 15, not that bad. Chance of rain's 90%. Coaches do get a little bit more conservative in the rain, so make sure you check on that one. May want to check that total out there. I should look at mine and what I had on that total, 57.5. It was opened 53.5, went down to 52. It is up to 54. I think that went down because they were factoring in the weather and hoping they'd get really bad weather. I don't think so. So it's not a game that I would jump in and just go bet blindly under. Check it out. If they don't get that rain, the wind's not that bad, those teams can put up points. Columbia, South Carolina, a few showers this morning, hanging around during the afternoon, 83 degrees there, winds 10 to 15. So that's another one really not to be affected. LSU and South Carolina, I like that game over. Game my dad bet, he took South Carolina plus the 7 in that one. I'll go over some of his plays today for you as well. Sharp can be one of the best handicappers I still know in this day and age. Miami and Florida today, 100% chance of rain. Early thunderstorms in the afternoon. It's going to be hot and humid there still. Winds only 5 to 10. That's good. It's another game that may look at the over in that football game. Miami and Florida hosting Ball State. This total's 55. Was open 51, bet up to 54, now 55. So, yeah, you might have missed that. I wouldn't bet it over. My number was 56 in the game, but when you got a favorite like Miami and Florida, 35.5, this could get to be a blowout. And if Ball State gets on the board early, and that's kind of a little slippery field, maybe helps things for the offenses in this situation because the wind will not affect play. It will be the weather, the rain that could create a slippery field. So check that one out. early on. If Ball State scores early, that could end up being a very good over game in game. East Carolina today, they're hosting Appalachian State. That's in Greenville. That's the weather there today, 82 the high. No wind. No rain in the area. Maybe a small shower or thunderstorm possible, but the winds northeast 10 to 20. The winds will swirl in that stadium, so be careful there. I would lean to the under in that football game because of the winds there. So that's game 152, East Carolina. I made it 53. Open 54.5, was bet up to 61.5, is 59.5 right now. But that would definitely be an under, and my dad agrees with that. He is on the under already in Appalachian State and East Carolina. Old Dominion in Norfolk, Virginia. This game, no rain there at all. Wind 10 to 20 miles an hour. Old Dominion playing Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech, I had 13-46.5. The number is right there. Virginia Tech open 14, bet up to 17. I kind of agree with the move. I like this Virginia Tech team. I think they're back like their head coach. I think he's doing a really good job there. But there's no value there for me to make a bet either way in that football game. Liberty, Lynchburg, Virginia today. No rain there. Winds 10 to 15. Weather's okay. Georgia State, they're in Atlanta hosting Vanderbilt today. I made Vandy 5.5 and 54. This game, Vandy is opened 8, went to 10.5. Now it's down to 9.5. So it did come back my way. The total opened 43.5, bet up to 46.5. It's 44.5 right now. And the weather there today, morning showers and showers during the afternoon. Winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. Chance of rain 70%. So could get a little windy there in Atlanta today. My total 54. With that type of wind, I'd drop off at least a touchdown. Well, at least 5 points, anywhere between 5 to 7, depending on how bad the weather is. So coaches get extremely conservative. So if you looked at the power rating sheet and you thought I'll bet that game over, and you went over the 43.5, it did go up, but now it came back down because of that wind. So I'm not betting it. I bet it over, got off the game because of the weather. So I have no play on it now, but a small middle going in that Georgia State game. Auburn, Alabama today. Heavy rain to start the day, showers, thunderstorms. That's game 184. New Mexico is at Auburn. Remember, that's Bronco Mendenhall there for the Lobos. Outstanding football coach. He's done a really good job so far keeping his team competitive. Very heavy rainfall there today in Alabama. Winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. I made Auburn 28 and 56. This total was 59.5. Bet up to 61. Now bet back down to 59. I would take off probably. And the wind may not be that big of a factor, so I'm going to pass. If it's really heavy rain, coaches will get conservative in that football game. Could end up going under. So I would lean to the under there, but nothing that I could say is worth a bet. Virginia in Charlottesville today. The Virginia Cavaliers host Maryland. This game I made Virginia 9. This one it's a good play today. Virginia plus the points. Play my dad had played as well. I'm just thinking to myself, should have given this out to the VIP club. That's one I'm going to add right now. I know this line came down a little bit. Looking at this number, Maryland Open 1 was bet up to 3. Now back down to 1, and I think there's still a lot of value on Virginia plus 1. I think this is a very good football team. 53 was my total. It was 53.5, bet up to 57.5, back down to 56. In this game, 82 degrees today. Winds 5 to 10 will not affect play. Nothing with the weather there. Another spot I looked at was Wyoming, because in Laramie, they always get some high winds, and it is windy there today. 10 to 20 mile per hour winds. In Laramie, I made the total 45.5. It opened 39.5, was bet up to 40.5, settled in at 40. Because of those winds in that stadium, and thinking about the way these two teams are playing, BYU has been very conservative and under since last year. And Wyoming, the same. Their coach is power run, conservative football. This could be a close game, could be worth a parlay with that wind to Wyoming to the under, dog to the under in that game. So that's it for the weather report from KennyWhiteSports.com. And looking at some plays, I'm gonna go down the sheet here, talk about some games that the numbers are off, whether I bet them or not. Nothing in that Oklahoma State game. Texas Tech is right there, 12.5 and 68. Current line 10 and 70.5. Alabama, I made 7 and 53. Yeah, I did take the points with Wisconsin. Talked about that game all week. Love Luke Fickell. Love the points. The Illini, I made 19.5 and 52.5. Current line 21 and 50. It's right there. Florida State, I made 11.5. This line opened 4, went to 6.5. I missed it, didn't bet it. I'm going to pass. I'm not going to lay the 6.5 now after I missed the 4 at the Circa Open when they open this week. Total right there. I talked about the weather in that game in Tallahassee, maybe a little windy. Miami of Ohio, I made 2.5. This game opened 4, has been bet all the way down to 3. I missed that one. Did not get that on Sunday, so I passed. Did not play it. Don't like to bet a bad number. As many plays as I have, especially in the FCS stuff. And I'll get to those games shortly. North Carolina State, 22 and 57.5. Game I went over 50.5. It's gone down to 48.5. So you actually have a little bit of more value than what I have, a lot more value than what I have. So that's not a bad play. NC State and Louisiana Tech over. LSU, I made 4.5 and 60. I missed that game. Did not play it. Did not take the 8 down to 7. Now 6 today. Makes sense because LSU still kind of an inexperienced team, very talented, but they have not gelled together. We'll see when they do. They should improve throughout the year because of Brian Kelly. This total I made 60 was 49.5, bet down to 48. I went over, and it is lower than what I bet it at. Usually they go my way, but these last couple did not go my way. But I did go over there, LSU and South Carolina. Michigan, 27 and 46.5. My number, it's 21.5, 47. Yeah, I'm not going to lay the points with Michigan after what they did last week. Did not play well for us. Turned the football over 3 times. They got to take care of it today. They should be able to, and they may be able to run the score up, but I'm not going to bet on it. Too many better plays today. Missouri, I made 14 and 60. This total opened 55.5, so it was not a play. Has gone down to 54, now down to 53. They may get me interested. This is a 9:45 Pacific kickoff. I'll take a look at this probably after the show to look at both teams, see if there's any trends for both teams to the over. Massachusetts and Buffalo, I made Buffalo 5.5, 48. This number pretty close, 4 and 45.5. Coastal, I made 10 and 57. It's 17 and 53. Can you stomach betting on Temple? I'm not sure if I can. I didn't take the points. It was only 14 when it opened and has been bet up, so I'd be betting against the market. I did pass there. Florida, I made 1 and 58.5. A&M opened 4 and 47.5. I've talked about this game all week. And yesterday after the show, a friend texted me and said, hey, what about Connor Wegman? Is he playing or not? I looked it up. The news was out there because the SEC now requires all teams to fill out a injury list. And Connor Wegman was put on that list as questionable. So I think he's got a slight concussion from last week, but I think he'll play. What I've read, it looks like he'll play. The line opened A&M 4, stood pretty steady all week. Did get bet down to 3.5 when that news came out. People trying to take a lead in that game. I was pushing for the over. I think both teams have good quarterback play. Seems like a low total to me. Florida's defense real still average, but both teams I have their offense graded higher than their defense. So I'll go over there today. In Gainesville, the weather, I mentioned that to you. Check that again real quick. Winds are only 5 to 10 there. Occasional shower, 50% chance. I think it's good. The footing will be fine. These two can put up points. Washington State, Washington. This on a neutral. I made the game 3.5. Washington opened 3, has been bet up to 6 now. I know my dad took 4.5 on Washington State, so kind of agree. Maybe taking +6, a little bit of value for the Washington State team in this game. Oregon State today, another big rivalry, the Civil War. Usually played at the end of the year, but now they're not in the same conference. I made Oregon 19. They're 17. No play there. The total I made 56, down to 49. So I didn't bet it when it first came out and missed it, I guess, or I saw it move against me, and it's down to 49. Has moved against me. I'm going to look this one over. I don't really have a big feel for it, for the over in this game, and don't like to bet a lot of overs. So I'd rather bet more unders, and I've had a lot of overs early. So obviously I'm going to have to really go through my numbers with a fine tooth comb after this weekend to see where I'm at, see where the average totals are at, see what the scoring is at, and go over those numbers to make sure next week's are much, much better than this, and we can get more unders than overs. West Virginia and Pittsburgh, I made West Virginia 5. Soap and pick, went to West Virginia 3, came my way, but now it's back down to 1.5. Money both sides here. I'm not gonna bet the side. I'll watch this game and then adjust the teams. Total I made 66, open 57.5, and it was bet up to 63.5. Sits at 62.5 right now. I'm going to double check that and make sure that is where that number's at. Pittsburgh game 142 on the Spank Odds screen. If you don't have a screen, go to spankodds.com and you can get the free product. Try it out, play around with it. They're not going to pressure you. It's something, if you want it, you need it, you'll buy it. And they've got a good product, so no pressure. Use the free product, and then if you want to jump up to the basic, I think it's $200 a month. It's a 5-minute delay or 2-minute delay. The basic is a 5-minute delay. The free one's 5-minute delay. And then you can go to the pro if you want, that has instantaneous odds moves. They're always moving, and they got great injuries. But that game right there, 142, Pittsburgh, total 61.5, 62 at the South Point, and 62.5 at the Circa. So yeah, this number's still right around what I made it. So there's nothing really there in that game. I'm gonna pass. Would love to take the dog in games like that, because that's a big rivalry. West Virginia and Pittsburgh, they're very close in proximity, and they do not like each other. So another reason why I probably didn't lay the favorite and missed it, went to 3. But I'm not going to turn around and go, well, it's up to 3 now, I'm going to bet the dog. I made it 5. I'm only looking, to bet the favorite. And again, me, I don't like betting favorites. So it's good reason I passed that game. Ball State and Miami, 35.5, 56. This is a game I talked about because of the weather. Not a lot of wind, could be some rain. This is a game that I think could go over, that I have a feel for. My number doesn't say it at 56. Open 51.5. I didn't bet it because I don't like to bet a lot of overs. But when I get a situation where I think the big lead by Miami and the quarterback play and the weather could help this game go flying over. So it could be a blowout. Ball State needs to get on the board. Ball State will need to help get this game to go over the total. So if they score early, break up that shutout, then I would have confidence betting in game Ball State and Miami over. That's game 144. Tulane and Oklahoma. I made Oklahoma 15 and 51. They had, they didn't play well last week versus Houston. Tulane lost their coach, Fritz. He went to Houston. So maybe there might be some information exchange there in that game. Tulane may have a little bit of information if Willie Fritz was still on good terms with them. He probably is, and has probably helped them out with a little bit of a game plan. I have no play either way. Total 51, was open 52.5, bet down to 47, and then 46.5 today. So people betting that under. I'm not on the game whatsoever. Minnesota 18.5, 45.5. It's 17 at 44.5. I didn't lay this one either early. Opened 11. Bet up to 17.5. Now it's 17. So my total right there. Notre Dame, I made 7.5. Total 47. This one opened 10 down to 47.5. I didn't bet it either. A lot of these games, I was really behind this past week with my queries, my access programs to Excel, and uploading, downloading, and running those queries. There was some mistakes here and there. Running my stats program, trying to get everything in order. I just wasn't prepared. And then I look, and Circa went up at 10:30. They normally would go up at 11 a.m. on Sunday. They went up at 10:30. So now I'm, working today and tomorrow to be prepared to be able to bet those numbers at 10:30. But That's why I didn't bet a lot of these games, and I passed a lot of these games. I'm also betting a lot of FCS games. So I'm going to try to move along a little bit. It's 7:20, and I do want to talk some baseball, and I will be on at VEASAN today. Tim Murray and his show, Game Day, I believe it's called. Tim's a great guy, does a great job, and I'll be on with him right after this one on VEASAN at 7:45 a.m. East Carolina 2-53. This Appalachians 1. I talked about the weather in that game. Lean to the under there, and my dad definitely likes the under there in that East Carolina game. Mark that down, 152. That's not a bad underplay there, East Carolina, with my number at 53. Love unders. Iowa 26-39. They're 24-39. Nothing there. Arkansas 16.5, 63.5. I had a 5-point difference on the total. Didn't bet it. It has gone up to 61. Side 22, I have no interest. It was 21, bet up to 24, back down to 22. I know my dad likes the dog a little bit. He did a little bit down on Arkansas, so he did bet that dog. Utah State, Cam Rising. Doesn't look like he's playing the way the number has moved. I did not check yesterday. I made it 16 with him in, 11 with him out, and the total 54 in, 49 out. I'm not betting it over, though. It is a Utah State, big game for Utah State, and they are playing at home. Surprising that the Utes would go there and play at Utah State, but they are. Virginia Tech, I talked about that game earlier. Liberty 23-65. I made it the current line 23.5, 57.5. Again, I don't like overs. Did not bet the game over. Not going to either. Was worried about weather in that area. It's not going to be too bad though. Duke 13-48.5. It's 16-47. I don't have really anything there. I do lean to the underdog. I know my dad really likes Connecticut, loves Jim Mora Jr. and the team he's put together. So he did take the 17. I still think maybe a little bit of value since we both lean to that way, kind of an agreement play with Connecticut. I do like the Huskies myself. Florida Atlantic, I made 7.5. They opened 6. Bet down to 4. Not betting against the steam on that play. And the total, I made 42.5. It is 45. Maryland, Virginia, talked about that one. Or did I go in the wrong direction? I went too early. I got to move along here, folks. It is getting late in the day. I know you have the sheet. If you don't have the sheet, go to KennyWhiteSports.com. Get the power ratings. You get my sheets every day. Monday, the college football will be updated. You'll get it either late Sunday night or early Monday morning. It'll be in your inbox. Open up your email. You print out the sheets. I do PDFs for you and the Excel spreadsheets. However you want to use them. Use them to compare my line to the betting line and come up with your own plays. Also, this is all the math. 75% of the equation. There is the science behind betting as well. Look aheads, letdowns, revenge factors, home revenge factors, and all of that. So we saw last night, Kansas. They did not take, they looked like they came out to play early, 17-3 lead at the half, and looked like they may cruise to a win. But I think they started thinking about conference play. We beat this team last year. UNLV wanted to make a showing for themselves, and Barry Odom has done that with the Rebels. They had revenge from the bowl games last year. It definitely worked and was worth taking off the number. Again, I hate betting favorites because they don't really care about covering spreads. They just care about winning games. Western Kentucky, Middle Tennessee. I made Western Kentucky 2-56. I did talk about this game. I just think it's two bad teams. It is Middle Tennessee has lost at least 3 in a row in this series, and a new head coach, maybe a little bit of excitement there. Not a great play, but it is an underdog play. This line has come down from 8, 7.5 down to 7. You can take 7. You may have missed that, just missing the hook, something that would keep me off that game. Down the list of ways, South Florida, I only have 2.5 and 56. I do like the dog there in that game. Southern Mississippi plus 12. I think South Florida's power rating went way up, and people bet them this week because of their game against Alabama last week. I think Alabama was looking ahead to Wisconsin. South Florida 7, opened 7, up to 11.5, and then even up to 12 today. I did take 11.5 once this game went way up to that point. Nothing on Auburn. Nothing on, Baylor. I made 21 and 49.5. This total opened 43.5 down to 40.5. This could be a blowout, and you could get points here. A lot of teams that know how to stop the triple option will stop it. I don't know if Baylor is prepared for that. I think Air Force will put points on the board here. Last week they lost to San Jose. There was a lot of money for San Jose, but that was Ken Niumatalolo for San Jose, and he was at Navy for over 20 years. He runs that offense. He knows how to stop that offense. He was well prepared for the Air Force offense. I don't think Baylor will be, and I think Air Force's defense is rather average this year. I think Baylor will be able to put up plenty of points. This is a good spot for an over. Air Force and Baylor. And I want to get down the sheet. I want to get to the FCS games for you, kind of some games I'm looking at. Starting with the first extra game. They're extra games, they're called, when FCS play FBS games. I made Ohio 28.5 and 38. This number is 47. I definitely have an underplay. Betting under in Ohio. Past the Georgia Tech game, the number's right there. Kind of past the Michigan State game, it's right there. Akron number's right there. Charlotte 23 and 45. Don't want to lay the favor in this game. I don't know how motivated these FBS teams are for the smaller teams. I lean to the under by 3.5 points. Something to look at. I know my dad likes that game under. Charlotte under the total is a game that my dad's going to bet. North Carolina is pretty much right on the number. Lean to the over in that game, but again, not a big over player. Lean to the dog, but it's not big enough for me when the favorite is 38. I need to have about a 10-point difference when it gets that high. Nothing on Western Michigan. Down to Georgia Southern, there's nothing really there. Made it 25 and 50. Here's one I did bet under. Nebraska 24.5, 37.5. That's against Northern Iowa. Northern Iowa, always a FCS team with a good defense, and they play slow and methodical power run game. This total 48.5 went under there. The last one, Eastern Illinois at Northwestern. Northwestern makeshift stadium in Chicago. I made Northwestern 12 and 33. This number 26 and 36. Obviously, it's going to be a low-scoring game. I took the 26 with Eastern Illinois. You're only expected 36 points to be scored in the entire game, and I'm getting 26 points. I took the dog in that game against Eastern Illinois. I took Eastern Illinois against Northwestern. That's it for my football. Let's talk a little baseball here today. Again, probably you're going to be looking at the same teams again, because they're playing good baseball, and I'm going to go right back probably with the Diamondbacks. We'll see. The Mets, Severino made $1.43 over the Phillies. The Phillies have struggled a little bit versus right-handed pitching, and there's a big pitching difference for me. Severino over Allard in this game. I made the Mets 143. We're laying 105 with the Mets here today. I'm sure the Phillies want a little revenge from yesterday's 11-3 loss, but that doesn't mean they have to get it. Arizona made $1.70. Open 30, bet up to $1.43. Brandon Pfaadt is the starter for the Diamondbacks today. I stalled because I don't know if I pronounced his name right. Probably didn't. I probably butchered it. Pfaadt. I'm close. Cubs at Rockies made this total 12.5. Bet it over yesterday. Went over. Cubs are really swinging the bats. Got an awfully good lineup. And they hit lefties really well, and that's what they're facing today. Kyle Freeland. I made it $1.69. There's a 30-cent edge there. I'll make a small parlay as well on that one. Cubs to the over. And down the sheet of waves, going down to the Oakland A's, who did not fail yesterday. That was my best play of the day, and it took a while, but Brady Basso was outstanding. A 2-0 Oakland win. And we should get them again today. White Sox, the most miserable team in baseball. JT again against Chris Flexen. We could get some runs scored in this game as well today. I might even parlay that in round robin. The A's and over to that Cubs and over game and a little round robin. Favorite and over. Road team and over is always a good spot. You know they're going to get 9 at-bats. Houston's a parlay team. I made them $2.50. They're only $1.65. Verlander on the mound against Tyler Anderson for the Angels. Astros hit lefties extremely well, so good spot there. And rounding out the day will be the Minnesota Twins. Love the way they're playing. The Reds have not played well, and the Reds did beat the Twins yesterday. So Minnesota minus 148. I made them 215. That's it for today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. for NFL. Can't wait. NFL started out extremely well. The college football, be honest with you, has not started out well, but I'll make adjustments and I will pick winners in college football, but has not started well. NFL, surprisingly, which I don't expect it to, started great last week and had a lot of winners in the NFL. So hopefully that will continue. We'll have more winners in the NFL tomorrow. So it is a marathon and not a sprint. I've been doing this for 40 years, and be the turtle, not the hare. Take your time, walk through it. They're going to sing the national anthem again tomorrow in these games. So there's always games to bet on. That's our advantage. The bookmaker, they got 11-10 and time on their side. That's because they know sooner or later we're going to screw up and bet too much money on games that we shouldn't. We're going to press. We don't want to do that. We want to have a process, stick with the process, stick with the plan, stay within your bankroll. And when you get hot, go up. When you get cold, stay low, stay low, stay low until that hot streak comes, because it will. So for Mikey Vogel, my producer, thanks, Mikey, for getting up early in the morning and getting me on the air here on YouTube and on X. It is Kenny White, Bet the Gambit. And again, I'll be on VSiN here in about 15 minutes with Tim Murray if you want to tune in there. I'd love for you to watch the show. I'll probably have a little of the same information that I've talked about here today, but maybe something new that I didn't say. Hey, again, have a great Saturday. I'll see you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. with NFL information and weather if it applies. Have a good one. Thanks for watching.